second video on the 8 lies of grief and heartbreak and all of the problems that these lies create in your life. That's why I wanted to re-go over these particular lies so that you can really get to grips with exactly what they are, how insidious they are going to be to your life, and what you can do instead of relying on these. So yesterday we were looking at how people are telling you from young to current day not to feel. So they'll say, "Oh, don't feel bad. It could be worse. Don't feel bad," and they'll give you a reason why not to. They might even compare you to other people, which is another lie of grief. So with this one, we're going to look at replacing. So I've got on the board here, replace, and we are very much taught that when you feel bad, you're told, don't feel bad. Here, have this instead. Don't feel bad. Go and find someone else. Don't feel bad. We can go and get another one. And that could be with going to get another pet after pet loss. It could be going to get another partner when your relationship ends. And it could be about going to replace your pain over an injury or something with food or with a heartbreak. So they give you a glass of wine, or they give you sugar as a child. They might give you a bag of sweets, ice cream, and then as you get older, these crutches that we're taught very much become then alcohol, drugs, sex, anything that will distract you from the pain of how you feel, because that's all you've ever been shown, is that when you have pain, don't feel bad. So in other words, don't feel. So don't feel the pain. Just don't feel the way that you do. Replace that pain, replace the problem with someone else, replace that problem with something else. Just don't, don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Don't feel the way that you do. And of course, as we get older, this can become a problem, because if we're always doing that, we can just end up not feeling at all. And then you get people that actually say that, you know what, I just don't feel anything. I don't know how I feel, because we're not allowed to access those emotions of how we feel. So some people just end up not feeling. Now, I want to look at replacing the loss with a person. So when you're told from very young, from your first loves, oh, never mind, there's plenty more fish in the sea. Never mind, there's someone else out there. Never mind, you're too good for them, or they're not good enough for you, or whatever it is that you're told. What we do is we learn that we can replace our partners with someone else. And when this is backed up with all the other replacement of pain or things that we're going through, what this can lead to with certain personality types is that the minute things start to go wrong in a current relationship, they'll just start looking over the shoulder of the person that they're with and replace them before this relationship finally ends. So then we get people that become very much addicted to new relationships. These might be people that have many affairs, or they just like go from one relationship to another to another. It's like the minute things start to go wrong, they're out, or they're just these people that have loads of affairs. And of course, you see this a lot of people that are bereaved. Sometimes people will end a relationship. So the relationship ends because they're a widow, someone died, and then the surviving partner, within a few months is remarried, and people are often miffed as to why that is and perplexed as to why that person might have remarried so soon. But if all you've known is replace the loss, and you don't know and you haven't learned how to heal your previous relationship before you go into a new one, what do I do? What do I do about moving on from that pain, from that relationship, from the things I went through? Oh, I know, I'll just go and get someone else. It doesn't work. You have to. Very rarely does it. If you're one of those fortunate people that has gone from another relationship into a happy one, great for you. but it's very, very rare. Normally, what happens, everything's fine in the new relationship for a while, and then all of that stuff that you kind of carried into your new relationship that you didn't heal from in the old one, and the one before that, and before that, and before that, depending on how many relationships that you've had, then we're just taking a bigger bag and a bigger burden into the next relationship, which gives that next relationship a smaller chance of working, and B, really not being fair to the person you're being with, because they'll never measure up to that great big sack of stuff that you've taken to their door. And of course, most importantly, you're not being fair to yourself, because if you're not fair to you, how can you possibly be fair to anybody else? So this replacing the loss goes very deep. Things like obesity, drug addiction, these addictions very much come out of the first drug that we've been given as a child, which is sugar. And sugar is often given to kids as a pacifier. It's a way of keeping them quiet. It's a way of distracting them from their pain. I remember very much when my son was a baby, many years ago now, he would cry, and my mum, in her granny mode, would automatically go and get food and give it to him as a way of shutting him up and keeping him quiet. And that was how I was brought up, so that was what she would continually do. And of course, it was only when I really learned this new language about what to do when hurting, what to do when you're in pain, that I actually realized that wasn't the best thing to do. And I've spoken about this before in other videos, but even things like Peppa Pig. So with my daughter, who I had after I learned this work and I learned this new language, I was very aware of how food was being used to almost control children's emotions. And I very much saw this in Peppa Pig, where Peppa would go to her mum and say, Mummy, this has happened. And then her mum would say, never mind, I've just baked some cookies. Here, have a cookie. And it was literally, never mind. In other words, don't feel bad. Here, have a cookie. So Peppa Pig never got to express to her mum what was going on and how she really felt. And I know it's only a cartoon, but I see it all the time on, school runs and just with my daughter's friends, and you just see it everywhere. It's in every movie you watch. There's every time someone has a heartbreak, they go out and get pissed, or they're sitting eating tubs of ice cream, and it's very much about replacing your feelings and how bad you feel and the pain that you're going through with a substance or with a person. Now, in bereavement, you can't do that. You might have been taught that all your life, and then one day your partner dies or your parent dies, and then it's kind of, oh, well, what do I do now? I can't go and replace a mum. I can't go and get a new mum. I can't go and get a new dad. And people get stuck, and this is why bereavement can really hit hard for some people, because the usual strategies that they've been taught to rely on don't work, because you can't go and buy another one, you can't go and get another one. And so bereavement is one of those ones where when people come up against that, it's a really difficult one, because the strategies, the usual things don't work. Of course, people can then go and turn to alcohol. They can go and use these emotional crutches to numb the pain of how bad they feel. But it's the same theme. It is this whole thing about replacing the loss and replacing your pain, which ends up with addictions for a lot of people too, by the way, and just replacing how bad you feel, because people are scared of emotions. They're scared of actually feeling their feelings and being okay with it, with you not being okay, and expecting, and this level of expectation from those around you that you've always got to be hyped, you've always got to be ready for the party, you've always just got to be have this happy smile on your face, and if you're not, you get questions like, well, what's wrong with you, what's up, and then you get fixed, and then people give you advice, as opposed to just being with someone and saying, oh God, I'm sorry to hear that you're going through a lot. That must be really difficult right now. And just staying in that heart space of being with another and having the courage not to offer advice and not to fix. And if you do want to do that, then ask permission. You know, would you like some advice? Would you like me to just listen? I don't know what to do right now. What can I do to support you? I can see you in a lot of pain, and I'm really sorry to see that, but I want you to know that I'm here for you if you just want to vent. Those are the responses that really bring people into their hearts. And it really is a case of bringing people from their minds into their hearts, because we're not born without this inner skill set that when we're allowed to feel our pain and when we're allowed to stay in our hearts, when we be in our hearts, we naturally move out of that. When we're allowed to talk and express without being fixed and advised and given solutions, and having alcohol and everything being replaced and all of those things, it keeps us trapped as opposed to keeping us free to be in our pain. Listen, there's no delete switch. That's what I say to my clients all the time. There is no delete switch. We can't wipe our memories. We have to get through. And the only way to get through is to walk right on through and come out the other side. We don't want to get stuck in the middle, or even worse at the beginning, and you're just always going around, and then your whole life is about skirting the real issues. And of course you can do that, but I guess if you're looking for solutions, you wouldn't be watching this video. And there are other ways that you can get through that pain, and one of them is not to do it alone, and learning a skill set can really help. So thank you for watching. I hope this has been of value to you, and enjoy the rest of your day.